Attorney Sagayo, tanungin lang po kayo. Ano? Kailan po yung statutory deadline nung pong requirement ng Section 8? Kailan po ang deadline nung pong para kayo mag-IPO? Kasi
10 years from the start of our operations, Mr. Chairman, January of 2009, so that should be January of 2019.
Yes, exactly. So, January 15, 2009 to January 14, 2019. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
At at ang share swap na binabanggit po ninyong other form of methodology granting without admitting that it is provided by Section 8. Kailan niyo po na-mention doon sa inyong application sa ERC?
The share swap agreement, as far as I can recall, we had been mentioning that in our pleadings. We filed the extension in...
Wait po, attorney.
Okay.
Para po maging klaro, 2 months prior to the statutory deadline on January 14, 2019. 2019. February...
2018,
No,
sir.
November 18 po. November 2018, nag-file po kayo 2 months before
Extension.
the statutory deadline
Yeah.
for extension of
Yes,
listing
correct
of
po.
the share of stocks
Extension,
of
yes.
NGCP. Klaro po tayo doon.
Correct. Opo.
Di po ba? At ang hiningi po nyo ay extension,
Opo.
di ba, ng listing, di ba?
Opo.
At nagdesisyon po ang ERC, sabi po nila nung March 3, okay, 2020,
2020.
na sinasabi po nila, denied yung petition nyo. At nag-motion for reconsideration po kayo, at dinenay din po nila.
Opo.
And on July 2, 2021, nag-file po kayo ng motion for clarification.
That's correct. Opo.
At doon po, sinasabi po ninyo, gusto nyo i-clarify yung decision.
Opo.
And then, nag-add po kayo, altering the decision, na sinasabi nyo, pwede po ba kami mag-share swap? Di ba?
Backdoor listing. Opo.
Yes.
Oh,
Oo.
yeah.
Pwede po ba kami mag-share swap? Sinabanggit po nyo noong July 2, 2021.
That's correct. Opo.
And that was, tapos na po yung deadline na required ng ating pong franchise law na sinasabi po sa Section 8 na sa loob po ng 10 taon, dapat mag-IPO na po kayo, mag-public offering na po kayo. So ngayon, ang tanong ko po sa inyo, since July 2, 2021 po kayo, nag-propose ng methodology na share swap. So, do you still consider that you are within the 10-year requirement of Section 8 of Republic Act 9511?
That's our position po, Mr. Chairman.
And tinatanong ko po, sir,
Opo.
dahil ang sinasabi po ng batas, 10 taon, January 15, 2009 to January 14, 2019. Doon po kayo mag-IPO. Dapat mag-IPO po o mag-public offering po kayo doon or considering without admitting na pwede ang share swap. Binanggit nyo lamang po ang share swap July 2, 2021. Ang binanggit po ninyo noong 2018 hanggang magdesisyon po ang ERC is all about extension. None ang share swap. Now, ang tanong ko po, did you comply with Section 8 of Republic Act 9511?
Definitely, Mr. Chairman. That's our
Paano po
position.
kayo nakapag-comply hindi nyo naman binabanggit ang share swap prior to the deadline?
Mr. Chairman,
Yun po, klaro na po, Attorney Sagaya. Pareho naman po tayong nagbabasa ng ating pong mga decision. Sinabi po doon nakalagay, 2 months before the deadline, the statutory deadline,
we filed a motion for
nag-file po kayo ng
extension.
extension.
Opo.
Wala po doon. Kahit basahin niyo po yung decision nila at yung inyong petition, wala po kayong binanggit na share swap. Binanggit niyo lamang po ang share swap July 2, 2021. 2 years after the deadline. So ngayon, ang tanong ko po, binanggit niyo ba in any pleadings mula nung nag-file kayo noong November 2018 hanggang madinay po yung motion for reconsideration nyo, hanggang nag-file kayo ng motion for clarification. Binanggit nyo po ba prior to July 2, 2021 ang share swap?
Two points po, Mr. Chairman. Ano po? We were in the decision April of 2020. We were effectively granted the extension. 6 months nga lang po. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to recall all the pleadings that we had filed, and I'm very sure, ad cautelam, I will submit the necessary pleading, Mr. Chairman. But that,
Mr. Chairman,
I think even prior to that motion for clarification, July of 2021, we mentioned backdoor listing because we believe that whether we mention it or not, the law provides for that alternative.
you mentioned the backdoor listing of the share swap 2009, and you abandoned it. According to the report that you have submitted to the ERC, you submitted the report of ABS-CBN that you have abandoned the share swap. I don't know if you were still there nung inabandon po yan ng NGCP. Nirevive nyo lang po yan July 2, 2021 after the statutory deadline. Di ba? So, Mr. Attorney Sagayo, I read everything mula November 2018 up to July 2, 2021. Wala kayong minention na share swap. Kasi nga, ang very title of the petition was extension of the listing of the share of stocks of NGCP. Humingi kayo ng extension. Wala naman po kayo sinabi doon share swap And even sa motion for reconsideration nyo, that was denied. Never na-mention po ang share swap. July 2 lang, 2021. Now, ang tanong, since hindi kayo pumasok doon sa period na 10-year, 10 taon, binabanggit, have you violated Section 8, Republic Act 9511? Because you only mentioned share swap July 2, 2021.
Mr. Chairman, I really believe that we did not violate the provisions of our franchise. The share swap agreement is clearly provided for under the law. When we filed a motion for extension, that's correct. We mentioned IPO. But during the pandemic, and at the time, we were already granted an extension by the
Attorney,
ERC.
I agree naman sa inyo na provided po yung other mode of offering. Totoo naman po yun. Pwede naman po talaga Ang tinatanong ko lamang po ba sa inyo, kung final nyo within the requirement of 10-year period. Kasi kahit saan ko pagbaliktad din yung mga dokumento na final nyo, petition ninyo, decision nila sa ERC, and the motion for reconsideration ninyo that was denied as well, wala po. Wala ako nakakita. Now, Mr. Attorney, if you can present to me, kahit sa pagbabalik po ninyo, that you have mentioned share swap within that period, then I will agree with you. You did not violate Section 8 of Republic Act 9511. Do you have documents to prove that you have mentioned the share swap from 2019 up to July 2, 2021?
Mr. Chairman, we will submit. We'll check our records and we will submit. But be that as it may, as I've been saying, while there is a 10-year period, the law is also clear that this can be extended by the ERC, and indeed ERC gave us an additional period within which to comply as to which option or as to which route
that's
should
wrong.
we choose.
That's wrong, Attorney. Ang binigay po sa inyong extension is listing of share of stocks of NGCP. Extension para mag-list na po kayo para po sa initial public offering.
Yes.
At nung
I'm
dinay
sorry.
po, nag-motion for reconsideration kayo. Doon sa petition nyo na for extension uli. Hindi naman binanggit ang share swap doon Anyway, Mr. Chairman, medyo alam kong hindi naman po kayo talaga what you call this, agree dito. But of course, kung makakapag-present po kayo ng I will be challenging you. Bigyan niyo po ako ng dokumento na 2 months prior to the statutory deadline, nakapag-comply po kayo doon sa share swap na sinasabi po ninyo. That you are mentioning, that were mentioned in the petition that you filed for extension. Never, wala po ako nakita attorney eh. Pero kung may mapapakita po kayo sa akin, next week, tatayuan ko po yan. And I will agree with you that you did not violate Section 8 of Republic Act 9511.
At saka, if I
Maliwanag
may...
po tayo. Hindi,
Okay.
attorney, okay na po yun.
Okay.
Para kasi mahahaba po tayo, ang dami ko papunta nung... Pero, kung mamimension nyo ngayon, andyan naman ang mga abogado nyo, hanapin nyo na ngayon na meron sinasabi na may share swap prior to July 2, 2021, then I will agree with you. Prior, sa statutory deadline. Okay? Attorney Cynthia, you want to answer?
Mr. Chair, just a point of clarification, if I can make one. The share swap is not the share dispersal contemplated in our franchise. The share swap was a step preparatory to our share dispersal under Section 8, Option 2.
I know.
So, Mr.
Sabi
Chair,
ko nga kanina, granting without admitting na okay yon. Ang tinatanong ko, na-file nyo ba within the period
Mr.
that is allowable under Section 8? Wala naman kayong binanggit na share swap. Eh.
Mr. Chair, I suppose what we're trying to say is that the reason the share swap was never mentioned in any of those pleadings was that it wasn't a requirement under the concession agreement. It was a step preparatory to the share dispersal. So all the steps preparatory to, as long as they deemed us compliant with the Section 8, that need not be alleged in any of the pleadings. At
Attorney
any rate,
Cynthia, ang order po sa inyo is to pursue, start the compliance with the listing of the initial public offering within 6 months. Yun ang order sa inyo eh.
yes,
Di ba?
Mr. Chair.
Kasi yun ang petition nyo. That's the reason why when you file that petition, yun ang sinasagot ng ERC sa inyo. Ang sinasagot ng ERC sa inyo, hindi pwede kayo mag-extend. Mag-comply na kayo. Pero, nag-motion for reconsideration kayo, denied uli kayo. And then you filed the motion for clarification on July 2, 2021. Then, dun yung minention ang share swap.
Mr. Chairman, that's why we really filed, Mr. Chairman, the motion for clarification because we believe ERC has no power to limit our options because the law clearly provides for 2 options.
But
In
Attorney-
the order, if I may,
Sige, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The ERC seemed to have limited our option to IPO in the NJCP level. That is why we pointed out in our motion for clarification. The ERC, with all due respect, cannot legislate because the law itself provides for 2 options. That's why we filed that motion for clarification. So we
Attorney,
believe, thank you. Yeah.
They did not limit it because your petition is for extension. They just replied in your petition. And the title of your petition is extension. Wala naman kayong binanggit na share swap eh. Wala naman kayong binanggit na ano bang methodology yung gagamitin namin. And at the same time, you filed on January 2019. Nag-urgent motion kayo. Sinabi niyo, sige, mag-IPO na kami. O di ba, nag-imbestiga nga sila, yun ang question ko. O nagsisimula na sila ng investigation. And then again, you abandon it. Then, sa motion for clarification, wherein the motion for clarification is to clarify the decision of the ERC denying your petition with finality because that is a motion for reconsideration that is only allowed once. Di ba? Ma'am, isang beses lang ang motion for reconsideration and then there is a finality already.
Tama po.
Did they file any certiorari?
To the higher
the- to
courts,
the, ano,
none,
yes.
Mr. Chair.
And because you did not file any certiorari, when you received the decision 15 days after, the decision became immutable.
Mr. Chairman, correct me if I'm wrong, Chairman Di Malanta, but we only filed 1 motion for reconsideration.
Correct.
When it was denied, we received the order, our motion for reconsideration was denied. We received the order denying it May of 2021, and we were given 6 months, and we complied. Immediately we complied, count 6 months from our receipt of the decision in May of 2021, the 6 month, the 6-month period would have ended January 14 of 2021.
Okay,
Mr.
natawa naman
Chairman.
ako do, attorney. Okay, mabuti at least nagkaroon ka tayo ng break. Okay na yan, attorney. Alam mo, hindi tayo matatapos kasi siyempre paninindigan po ninyo yan eh. Pero what I'm trying to tell you, wala po talaga ako nakitang share swap. And even the commissioner siguro would agree with me that there was no share swap that was mentioned prior to July 2, 2021. Would you agree with me, Commissioner Maceda?
Well, they mentioned the share swap, Your Honor, in the context of them abandoning it in 2016.
Correct.
That was part of the evidence submitted by NGC.
But that was 2016.
No, yes, they abandoned in 2016 based on the information they submitted to the commission
Yes.
as part of their petition.
At yun yung information that I read in your document from the website that according to Henry C. and Robert Cuyuto, they abandoned the share swap.
That is correct. It's in fact part of the order, Your Honor.
I read it.
It's
I read
reflected
it.
there.
And that's the reason why I'm challenging them eh. Pakita nila sa akin share swap eh, na nag-file sila eh. Di ba? Wala eh. Abandon nyo po eh. So, okay. Punta na po tayo sa sunod. Okay, Transco. May tanong lang po ako sa Transco. Kasi po, dito po, eto, tingin ko wala namang kasalanan ng NGCP dito. Wala kayong kasalanan dito. Ang may kasalanan dito, concession agreement, yung concession natin, agreement natin. Kasi, yung pong ating concession fee is $3.9 billion. At ang equivalent noon, during that time, na ang foreign exchange is $1 to 42 pesos and 75 cents. Nakapeg tayo doon. Nakapeg. Ibig sabihin, ang babayaran nila, 42 pesos and 75 cents mula 2009 hanggang 2034. Question, what do you think about this agreement, this provision, na kung saan nakapeg po tayo sa 42.75? Ang binabayaran po sa atin ng ating pong concessionaire ay nakapix. Walang provision na dapat is merong escalation. Kasi nadadagdagan yung assets natin eh. Bumibili tayo ng mga real property eh. Di ba? Nag-ano tayo, nag-escalate yung ating mga yung ating mga assets eh. But in here, because of this, nawawalan po tayo ng malaking pera. And it is violative of EPIRA law. Particularly, Republic Act 9136, Section 47. Paki-ano mo nga yung yung number 7, please. Number 6 po. Number 6 pala. Number 6. Sige, number 6. Ayan, sa number 6 po, yan po yung concern. Kasi kanina sabi niyo 163 billion. Hindi ko alam kung sino ang tama dito. 168. Oh, sabihin na lang natin 168.9 billion. Nakapeg po tayo sa 42 pesos and 75 cents. So, ito po sinasabi ng EPIRA. Next tayo. Ang sabi ng EPIRA, 9136, Section 47A, pag pinrivatize po natin yung NPC, ito na nga, pinrivatize na po natin yung transmission. The privatization value to the national government of the NPC generation assets, real estate, other disposable assets, as well as IPP contract shall be optimized. Ang sabi, yung privatization value, kailangan i-maximize natin. At ito po, sinabi pa sa ating implementing rules and regulation, Rule 22, Section 11A, sa Transco privatization, sinabi, yung award shall result in maximum present value of proceeds to the national government. Transco, ang tanong, having said this, na sinasabi natin sa Republic Act 9136, don't you think that the concession agreement pertaining to this peg na forex exchange natin na 42.75 is in violation of this Republic Act that I mentioned?
Mr. Chair, if you will allow, may I defer the answer to President Dennis of PISAM.
Sige po. Sige, anybody can answer from PISAM.
Mr. Chair, I understand where Congressman Fernandez is coming from, right? That, and I can only assume what government did during that time. Since the bid was in dollars and the 25% of the fee was also paid upfront, which was paid in dollars, the 75% is remaining to be paid over a 20-year period, however in pesos. I can only assume that government at that time agreed to peg it at 42 pesos such that to maintain the value of the $3.95 billion winning bid.
But my
That
question-
is my assumption, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
but my question is, kasi binabanggit sa 47A, privatization value must be maximized, sabi. Lahat ng mga assets natin, di ba? At kailangan yung award niyan, kung bibigay natin sa concessionaire, kailangan magresulta sa maximum present value. Proceeds to the national government. Di ba? So, ang tanong, medyo unfair to sa government dahil nakapeg tayo sa 42 pesos.
Again, I can only assume that government at that time agreed with those terms, Mr. Chair, and government at that time
Yeah.
agreed that it was receiving the maximum value for the asset, Mr.
And
Chair.
during that time, Attorney Mucha, you were the PISAM Acting's Assistant Corporate Secretary. Was it
Mr.
correct?
Chair, I was assigned to I was working for the Office of the Government Corporate Council.
Yeah. Ano ka? Acting, ano ka? Sa PISAM ka nun?
I was with the Office of the Government Corporate
Hindi,
Council.
hindi ka PISAM?
I assisted my boss, then Government
Agra.
Corporate Council,
Si Agra.
when he was acting.
Were you not able to try to what do you call that? Study that it is in violation of the EPIRA?
Mr. Chair, as corporate secretary then, the Government Corporate Council only took minutes. And that was also the duties assigned to me.
So hindi kayo na-involved dun sa paggawa ng concession agreement?
Mr. Chair, if I'm not mistaken, that was in 2007, the drafting, no.
Okay. All right. All right. Punta po tayo dun sa page 8. Sa ERC po, pakicheck nyo lang po yan. Yung bidding na conducted by ERC para po sa second regulatory period, 2006 to 2010. Yan po yung projected na kikitain. Hindi, actually, ayan na. Yan na yung ating gross na revenue. 2006, 35 billion. 2007, 37 billion. 38 billion, 39 billion. Alam na yung kita natin nung 2006 to 2010 bago pa nila i-bid. Bago pa in-award to. So, alam na po ng mga mananalong bidders na kikita talaga sila. So ngayon, ang ating pong tatanungin na yung Transco. Ang Transco kasi, next page. Ang Transco projected an income from 2009 to 2034 if not privatized. Paano sila nakapag-project? Because of that page that I showed a while ago, kasi nga may approve na ang ERC na maximum annual revenue at meron ng alam kung magkano na yung gross revenue yearly. So na-project nila 2009 to 2034 that if not privatized, 341.36 billion yung ating pong kikitain. Compare natin doon sa total proceeds from privatization na 168.9 billion or 3.9 billion. In other words, Mr. Chairman, hindi ko naman sinisisi ang NGCP, wala akong sinisisi dito. Sinasabi lang po natin ang difference that we lost 172.5 billion because we privatize. Pero ako to, hindi ko sinasabi yung government before at hindi ko rin sinasabi ang NGCP ngayon. But yun lang po ang observation natin na ang sinasabi ng batas, Republic Act 9136, the award shall result in maximum present value of proceeds to the national government. This was not considered. Punta tayo sa next page. Ito yung sinasabi natin franchise tax. Tatanungin ko po ang Transco. Kasi kanina po natin pinag-uusapan na sinasabi ng NGCP, nagbabayad po sila ng 3% franchise tax. Tama po to, Attorney Sagayo, di ba? Nagbabayad po tayo ng 3%
Franchise tax.
franchise tax. Magkano po yan? For example, yung 2016 hanggang 2020 po.
3% franchise tax.
Opo, yung
Mr.
3% po, ano po yung equivalent po? Taon-taon.
Can I ask our finance to?
2016 na lang po to 2020. Is it 1.6 billion? 1.6 billion. Total of your franchise tax? Is it correct? O, ganito na lang po. Sige. So, Transco, pwede bang malaman ko sa inyo kung alam niyo pa rin na is this true that the tax earnings by the government from Transco prior to privatization average at 9.5 billion per year? Do you have any knowledge about
Mr.
this?
Chair, we don't have the exact or the data right now, but we started paying corporate income tax. I'm not sure if that was 2007 or, but definitely during the second regulatory period.
Sige po, Attorney Matibag, kasi you were a former president of the CEO. So, do you recall that prior to the privatization, kailan po ba kayo naging Transco president?
2017 po to
2017. I'm sure na encounter niyo po yung binabayad ng Transco sa gobyerno.
Yes, we are paying a corporate tax.
How
at
much?
that time. Hindi ko na, kasi nung pumasok nga ako, NGCP na rin noon, no, yung 3% for na ano nila na binabayaran na franchise tax, no. Pero to my recollection, we made the projection at that time kung nagtuloy-tuloy yung Transco's projected corporate income tax na babayaran from 2009 to 2034, which is the concession period. We done this projection nung nandun ako is 108.8 billion.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, yung aking, ano nga yung page 10? Kasi sa page 10 na aking pong pinapresent, it's also 108.8 billion. So, galing sa Transco to. So, yung binabayaran naman natin na corporate income tax per year, 9.5. Pero sa NGCP, yung projected franchise tax po natin from 2009 to 2024, 16.3 billion lang. Ngayon, ang tanong, ito po bang 3% franchise tax nyo ay binabayad nyo mula sa inyo or binabayad, kinukuha natin sa consumer? Attorney. Yung po 3% franchise tax po natin, saan po natin kinukuha? Sa sarili nyo kita or sa consumer?
We're paying it ourselves, the 3% franchise tax as we speak. We're paying it ourselves, Mr. Chairman.
So, mula po nang nabigay ng concession agreement po sa inyo, ay hindi nyo po sinisingil ang franchise tax sa consumer?
Okay, I have to qualify my answer, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, you have to.
During
Because
the
you're under
third-
oath.
Yeah.
Tandaan
Yes,
po
Mr.
ninyo.
Chairman, yeah.
Sige po.
During the third regulatory period, we were allowed by the ERC to pass that on to our consumers,
Correct.
the franchise tax.
Correct. Resolution number 7 of 2009 allowed you.
Allowed us.
Allowed
and we
you.
did that up to the
Yes.
time that ERC issued another resolution saying that it should be suspended. And we did suspend that.
Yeah, correct.
And henceforth, Mr. Chairman, we remitted the payments directly to the BIR.
Thank you for that, for being so honest, no? Kasi a while ago, parang gusto mong...
No, I didn't get correctly.
I hope mali lang yung aking assumption. Pero parang gusto nyo umiwas na... Hindi
No.
Okay,
No.
very thankful tayo dyan. As a matter of fact, talagang nung 2009, resolution number 7, ay sinabi ng ERC, okay? Pwede nang i-charge siya. Charge na lang natin sa taong bayan, 3%. At hanggang 2023, resolution number 10, nag-decide si Mona Lisa, together with the commissioner, hindi pwede yan. Kailangan hindi i-charge sa tao yung 3% franchise tax. Responsibilidad dyan ng NGCP. Imagine, wala na kayong corporate income tax. Pati franchise tax, i-charge rin sa consumer. Di ba? Napakaswerte nyo. Hindi nyo kasalanan. Nagdesisyon ng ERC eh. Hindi nyo kasalanan. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, hindi nyo kasalanan yung mga sinasabi ko ngayon eh. Kasalanan nila.
Okay.
Di ba? Inalaw kayo eh. Now, ang tanong, dahil sinasabi po ng ERC, hindi dapat i-charge yun sa consumer eh. Kasi franchise tax yun sa inyo na nga in lieu of all the taxes. Wala na nga kayong babayaran eh. 3% franchise tax na lang eh. Hindi pa natin, chinarge pa natin sa taong bayan. Tanong, sir. Since sinabi po nila na nakukorek kasi ang error eh. doon sa ERC, nakukorek yan eh. Pwede ba nating ibalik sa taong bayan yung 3% na franchise tax? Kasi sabi nila, hindi pwede to eh. Di ba? Ang sabi, magkailangan po reasonable and with kailangan may justice eh, di ba? Being a high profitable entity, sabi nga ni Attorney Mucha, high profit ang NGCP eh. Ano ba naman yung 3% na franchise tax na ibabalik natin sa taong bayan? Siguro naman eh, hindi naman po napakalaki nun. Pwede po ba natin ibalik sa taong bayan?
So, well, Mr. Chairman, I regret to answer that at the moment. I need to see whatever resolution the ERC would issue, then we would take the appropriate action after receipt of that decision.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman.
Sunod po tayo sa susunod na slide. Mr. Chairman, hindi lang naman po ito yung nawawala sa atin. Again, hindi nyo na naman kasalanan to. Kasalanan na naman ng ERC to. Alam mo yung mga taga-ERC, maraming mga kalokohang ginawa dito. Kaya, alam mo, hindi lahat. Maraming matitino dyan. Alam na alam ko kung sino matitino dyan at sino yung mga masasama dyan. And even the employees of the ERC, mababait po sila eh. Pero may mga ano dyan, may mga ibang tao na hindi na nakukonsensya. Basta kumita lang. Now, ang tanong ko, sa government, aside sa losses natin sa 3% franchise tax of the concession, ito pong tinatawag nating interest income and yung interest income taxes. Kasi yung ating mga income, merong mga interest yan, mga savings, loans, bonds, merong interest yan eh. At sabi sa concession agreement, accepted yung interest, and we are losing like 1.8 billion for the 25 years. Ayan yung mga losses natin, no? Makikita nyo. Kasi yung interest income tax, may interest po yun eh, yung mga savings loans eh, saka mga bonds po natin. So, practically, in-exempted kayo sa lahat ng taxes. Nakuha niyo po ba? Napakaswerte niyo po talaga eh. I mean, hindi niyo kasalanan again. Kasalanan ng gobyerno. And that's the reason why we're here. Para maayos po natin yung mga repeal or amendments of the concession agreement or the EPIRA or the franchise law. Yun po yung purpose natin. And we have nothing against you. Okay, trabaho lang po to. Punta po tayo sa next page. Page 12. Tama yun na dinig ko kay Attorney Matibag that prior to the privatization, 15 billion annually from Cash Surplus to NPC ay nire-remit po ng Transco. Now, ang tanong ko, sa Transco, during that time ng 2005, kasi I just wanted to be educated on this, kung totoo po bang naging debt-free tayo. Kasi itong nakita kong dokumentong ito, for the year 2005, sinasabi nila, nagre-remit kayo ng 15 billion. Kaya nga, nung nagsalita si Atty. Matibag, nagulat ako. Parang totoo pala to. So, totoo ba na nagre-remit na kayo prior to the privatization? At ang PISAM, no longer secured loans for Transco to finance its separation and capital expenditures since 2005. CAPEX were sourced from its internal cash generation. So, nagagawa na ng Transco yung trabaho niya. Nakakapag-remit pa sa gobyerno ng 15 billion. Eh, what's the essence of the concession agreement with NGCP? Kung nagre-remit na pala kayo ng 15 billion. Correct? So, meaning, ang bigat ng ginawa ng gobyerno during the time. Tanong, sir, can you kindly confirm to me that we are really remitting 15 billion a year sa government as surplus? Surplus, ha? Ibig sabihin, nakapag-operate ng Transco. Do you have a knowledge about this? At tinagurian tayong crown jewel dahil ang laki ng binibigay niyo sa gobyerno. 15 billion ba naman, surplus? O next page, para makita nyo. Ayan, 14.7 billion to be exact. The Transco cash surplus. At ang NGCP, yung mga deferred payments natin, 13.8 billion. The projected average annual cash surplus of the Transco is 14.7 billion, which is higher. Mas mataas pa tayo doon sa deferred payments ng NGCP. Bakit tayo nag-concession agreement? Again, hindi po ninyo kasalanan. Punta po tayo sa page 15. Hindi masagot ng Transco eh. Pero sana ma-research po nyo yan. Bigyan ko kayo ng copy nito para at least malaman po natin kung may yung veracity. And I wanted to find out sa ano rin po sa I think DBM or sa GOCC, ano, yung sino bang head ng GOCC ngayon? Can we invite the GOCC in the next time, Mr. Chairman? Okay. Ha? Ang dami pa nito. Okay, yung value po ng ano, ito pang isang hindi kinonsider ng concession agreement. Kanina nakikinig po ako sa balitaktakan po ninyo ni Attorney Melvin Matibag, ng mga nandito. Kasi nga, Attorney Matibag was not allowed, or according to him, he was not allowed, pero pwede naman po. Ang tanong ko kasi, bakit po ba during that time, that according to you, you allowed him, but according to him, hindi siya ina-allow? Ano ba reason bakit nagkaroon ng ganong confusion na ayaw niyong papasukin at sabi niyo naman pinapapasok niyo? What is the reason behind?
Mr. Chair, may I be
Yes.
recognized? Actually, that's what we are also asking because perhaps Mr. Matibag did not know he was already at the control center when we had the briefing. Because again, I repeat that we allowed Mr. Matibag and Secretary Cusi to enter the control center, actually the dispatch floor, which is usually reserved only for dispatchers. Even myself, I'm only allowed to go onto that floor at limited times. If I have guests, it is only at the conference room adjacent to the system control floor. So, but we did let them in and we gave them a briefing of that. And I also want, Mr. Chair, to clarify that apart from Mr. Matibag, many other Transco presidents, many other chairs, senators, congressmen, I think the NICA, no, not the NICA, the NSC, also conducted an on-the-spot inspection with no notice to us of the National Control Center, and they visited numerous facilities. We
Okay.
reiterate, Mr. Chair, our position that our facilities are highly secure, but they are not closed, especially to government, for so long as the protocols are observed and the not the limitations, the requirements under the concession agreement are observed. So as long as po nagsabi at sumang-ayon sa mga security protocols, makakapasok naman po talaga.
Actually, Attorney Cynthia, mucha hindi sana yun. Gusto na kitang putulin kanina kasi ang tungkol sa tanong ko yung tungkol dun sa issue ng other businesses. Kasi the Transco, ito is about the telecommunications. We're about to go to the telecommunications. So I'm sorry na-confuse ka doon sa tanong ko. Well, now, ang tanong ko, because during that time, paki-show nga yung number 15, hindi, number 17. 17. Yes, it's number 17 kasi po. Ang Transco sumulat sa NGCP noong March 28, 2017 and follow on April 11, 2017 on reports about the dismantling and the installation activities of telecommunication facilities and requested to allow Transco to inspect. Nakita ko at nabasa ko yung sulat ni former President Attorney Melvin Matibag kay Mr. Henry C. Ito yung issue that I wanted to be clarified. Because there was a allegation that you were installing telecommunication facilities inside the NGCP facilities, which is owned by the government. Is it true that you have dismantled and nagkaroon kayo ng de-installation ng mga telecommunication facilities during that time that former President Melvin Matibag wrote you a letter on March 28 and April 11, 2017.
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed some latitude to explain?
Yes.
And to answer. I do recall at this time, Mr. Matibag called the press conference and we were told that we were conducting telecommunications businesses on the transmission facilities. And if I recall correctly, he showed photos of certain installations. And again, if I recall correctly, these are actually antennas of Globe and PLDT that were born out of co-location agreements. And again, I recall that these co-location agreements are not unique to NGCP. In fact, they were among the many contracts we inherited from Transco. Further, Transco also, especially at the time of Mr. Matibag, knew of these co-location agreements because they were made party to the applications in the ERC when we reported our income for these co-location agreements, because we are under obligation to use up to 50% of the proceeds from those co-location agreements to lower the transmission cost, which we did regularly, and we reported and applied these applications to which I think Transco was either a party or copied, furnished copies.
Parang hindi ko nasakyan yan, Attorney Mucha.
Sorry, sir.
Ang sinasabi,
Tagalogin ko po.
kasi parang,
Wala pong
parang medyo,
negosyong-
ang tinatanong lang, simple lang. Nagkaroon ba ng de-installation ng mga telecommunication equipments and facilities? Because kanina sinasabi mo may mga pictures. Sige, we'll show you the pictures, ano? Siguro, yung number 18. Pakita lang natin. Yung number 18. So, walang nangyaring de-installation, walang nangyaring etong mga facilities ng telecommunication, walang na nangyaring dismantling of all these facilities that andyan po sa picture na yan.
Mr. Chair, as far as I can see, these are what looked like could be
Story
site
po yan.
offices that also are common when we have construction. I cannot tell from this vantage point what those are, but certainly we have not conducted any business involving transmission assets without the knowledge of Transco.
Are you familiar with this, Attorney Melvin Matibag, with all these pictures that I showed in this committee? Are you familiar with this?
Yes, Mr. Chair. It was reported by our personnel nung initially nagbibisit, nakikita nila yan. Pero alam nyo, Mr. Chair, ito na naman yung problema natin kasi I've been here, nagnayari na to for 5 years sa akin, balik na naman dito eh. Kaya sinasabi nila hindi sila nag-engage, pero as early as 2012, may mga letters sila that they are engaging in
Yeah, I know yan.
telecommunication business.
Well,
In fact, nag-add pa sila na kung gusto nyo ng broadband, makipag-usap kayo sa amin. I think between the words of Attorney Alabanza in the documents at hand, siguro naman with all due respect to my dean, when I was teaching in San Sebastian, best evidence rule, the document will speak for itself. Kahit hindi na siguro ako mag-explain, Mr. Chair, yung dokumento na lang yung magsasalita.
Yeah, and I want to show a document. Page 16, please. Ito yung ads ng NGCP sa PhilStar ng January 8, 2018. We have more to offer. Explore broadband with us. Kita niyo po? Ayan, no?
Mr. Chair, I remember that was drafted under my department.
Kaya nga, meron kayo, sinabi niyo, we have more to offer. Meron kayo may broadband with us. And actually, yung pong sulat na ni Mr. Henry C. kay Rolando Bacani, ang sinasabi niya, it is therefore imperative that NGCP retains its exclusive use
Yes.
over the fiber optic facility. Di ba? In violation of the concession agreement, section 8.03, which requires PSAM's prior written consent to engage in any related business. Show the 15. Because the value of telecommunication business dito, hindi natin na-consider ng government. And the telecom facilities, ang laki po ng ano niyan, ang tinatawag po nating annual gross revenue. Umaabot yan ng $22 billion. Doon pa lamang po sa current market value ng GSM. Yung mga 3G, yung mga 5G. Dati 3G lang tayo eh. Ang presyo niyan, almost $20 billion. Hindi pa natin sinasabi rito yung fixed line, which also give us an annual revenue, gross, $5 billion. And I think, dito po nanggagaling
Mr. Chair.
ang
may I?
NGCP. Sige, go ahead, Mucha.
Mr. Chair, an invitation to explore is not the same as engaging in the business. It was allowed under the concession agreement that we would be allowed to maximize the use of transmission assets, including related businesses. It was indeed contemplated by government, which is why it was written into the concession agreement.
Yes.
However, Mr. Chair, we did not go into business. There were, perhaps, it was contemplated, but to actually engage in business, no. In fact, Mr. Chair, after that little, for lack of a better term, tiff with Transco at that time, NGCP decided to give government free of use of the dark fiber embedded in the transmission
So,
system.
paano yung dark fiber? Can you educate me on that?
Again, Mr. Chair, Transco should know about this because laying of the dark fiber or the fiber optic cables.
Bakit hindi nyo napag-usapan ngayon ng gobyerno? Dahil hindi na, our concession agreement, alam mo, magbe-benefit ng ano dyan ang gobyerno.
Yeah, if I may be
Yeah,
allowed.
sige, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, the fiber optic cables were laid down beginning Transco's time. So at the time that we inherited the transmission system, there were already certain facilities that had the fiber optic cables. Now, the dark fiber is what they call the portion or the core of the fiber optic cables that are unused. Kaya po dark, kasi pag fiber optic, nag-iilaw po. Ngayon, meron pong potential talaga yon. Kaya nga po isinulat sa concession agreement na kung sakaling mapaggagamitan yung facility, including the fiber optic cables, nang hindi po necessarily connected to transmission, maaari pong gawin ng concessionaire yon, which is NGCP, as long as ibigay po nila a maximum of 50% nung mapagkikitaan nila doon para pababain ang singil sa
Correct.
transmission system. Ngayon,
Yes.
sir, ang sinasabi namin, nagkaroon po ng related business, pero hindi po sa fiber optic cables. Naisip ba ho namin gamitin yung fiber optic cables? Yes po. Natuloy ba po? Hindi. Ang natuloy lamang po ay yung aming kasunduan sa gobyerno na ibinibigay po namin free of charge yung use ng dark fiber. Right
Yes,
now po,
okay.
yung DICT po, pinapairal niya po yung agreement na yon kasi nagkakabit na po siya ng last mile.
Alam mo, Attorney Mucha, sana hindi kayo nagka-problema. Kung kumuha lang kayo ng prior consent, di ba? Bago ninyo nag-offer kayo ng exploration, nag-post na kayo sa website ninyo, and then, according sa mga documents na nakuha ko, meron na mga purchase sa Globe and Smart eh. And that's the reason why I'm trying to tell you na potential to eh. Di ba? Dapat pag-usapan nyo na to ng PISAM or whichever part of the government agencies na i-explore talaga natin to. But the problem is, hindi kayo kumuha ng consent. Anyway, eto na, punta po tayo. Kasi,
Mr. Chair, just one small clarification.
Attorney Mucha, mahaba na salita mo,
Mabilis
ha?
lang po,
O,
10
sige.
seconds. Iba po yung Globe at PLDT, yun po yung co-location antenna. Hindi po sila gumagamit ng dark fiber. Ulitin ko po, hindi po namin pinagkakitaan ng dark fiber.
Uy, wala akong sinasabi, pinagkitaan nyo, ha?
Kasi po yung business na sinasabi nyo, it
Yeah.
means meron na pong arrangement, meron na pong financial consideration.
Yeah.
Wala po yun.
But
Ang nangyari pong...
but the potential is so huge.
Yes, sir.
eh, di ba?
Correct po.
And
Kaya
you
nga
know
po,
that,
ibinigay
di ba?
namin yan sa gobyerno free of charge.
Okay, maraming salamat doon. Punta tayo sa... Sige, kayo na mag-usap. Sige, go ahead.
Ano lang kasi, play with words eh. Sinasabi,
Wait, Attorney Matibag, do you want to hear his opinion? Okay, Attorney Matibag.
just to clarify, kasi tama naman po si Congresswoman Dan, na kung nagsabi, baka hindi nagka-problema eh. Ngayon, dinajustify nila by saying na hindi naman engaging eh. But you're already soliciting for investment. Anong tawag naman natin doon? So yun lang po yung point ko, Mr. Chair.
Sa page 19 po kasi, sinasabi po doon sa inyong pong franchise law. Pakita po natin. Yan. Sinabi po sa franchise law nyo, the NGCP franchise law delegated yung power of eminent domain to the NGCP as Transco concessionaire. It provides that only private property may be acquired by NGCP for purposes of its franchise. Kasi ito, nag-expropriate po kayo doon sa Social Security System ng 60,852 sa Pasay City. 230 kilovolts substation project. At nire-require lang po doon 2,000. Bakit po bumili kayo ng 60,852 tapos ang kailangan lang requirement is 230 kilovolt na 2,000 square meter lang ang kailangan na lote?
Mr. Chair, again, may I be recognized? And may I be given
Please
wide
proceed.
latitude to answer? First of all, Mr. Chair, we begin with that the SSS expropriation has been abandoned Second, strictly speaking, it cannot be said that there's an absolute prohibition from expropriating government property. Expropriation is allowed for so long as the property is held by the government in its proprietary capacity. Second of all, Mr. Chair, it's not unusual to have a substation that big. Again, maybe this would serve to invite members of the committee to visit one of our substations because these facilities are very big. It is not limited to the footprint of your transformer. There are several large lines that have to come into the facility in order to bring in and take out the energy that passes through the transformers. So, if I may po, no, kung imagine niyo yung mga transformer namin, giant version po ng mga 110 to 220 step-down transformers. So, pagpasok po ng kuryente, may malaking linyang papasok, meron din hong malaking linyang palabas.
Pero, sandali,
meron din hong mga control center.
Mucha.
Kaya malaki po yung kinakailangang footprint, hindi po unusual. Nung panahon po ng Transco, meron tayong mga facilities po sa Bulacan as well as in Cebu that are
Kasi,
comparable
Atty. Mucha,
size.
gabi na, sandali muna. Okay. Okay na, naintindihan ko na yun. Okay? Pero ang sinasabi po, 60,000 square meter yung pinapurchase nyo. Pero 230 kilovolt substation lang to. Hindi to nagre-require ng 60,000 square meter. Why? Transco. Ang laki ng 60,000 square meter. At sa 230 kilovolt substation project, does it require 60,000 square meter?
Who are you addressing that to?
Sa Transco, alam nila to.
Transco, please reply.
Mr. Chair, based on my estimate that 60,000 square meters is too much for just a substation, even including the incoming power lines or the outgoing power lines.
Yun ang sinasabi ko. Kasi nga 230 kilovolts lang to.
Before, Engineer, kung masyadong malaki, ano dapat tamang sukat sa
2,000
tingin nyo?
square meter.
That would depend po kung ano ang capacity ng substation, ano ang...
Hindi, yung pinag-uusapan ng substation para sabihin nyo malaki, dapat meron kayong pinagbabasihan.
Normally, a 2-hectare area might be already sufficient. So that's
For?
about 20,000 square meters.
What's the size now?
Hindi. Kasi yung 230 kilovolt substation, Mr. Chairman, hindi naman nagre-require yan 60,000.
Oh, so the
Siguro
60,000 is 6 hectares.
3,000 is enough.
So
Diba?
siya sabi
Tama.
niya, 2 hektarya.
Yes, 20,000.
Ay, pwede na.
Hindi ho.
Hindi, kasi 20,000 ang binanggit niyang 20,000 square meters eh.
As I was saying, wala hong straightforward na tawag nito sukat yan kasi marami pong factors involved like yun nga yung capacity, kung ilan po yung number ng...
Alam niyo ba yung pinag-uusapan ng substation na yun? Alam niyo ba yan?
Hindi ako totally aware dyan, but yun pong capacity na yun na 60,000 is too much for just one substation.
Okay. Ito bang property to, kung matanong ko po, malapit ba to sa SMOA?
I think so, Mr. Chair.
Malapit, di ba?
Yes. Mr. Chair.
So, sandali, wait.
yeah.
May tatanong ulit ako. Malapit sa SMR o MOA. Now, ang tanong ko, abandon? Inabandon
Yung
niyo na yung,
procurement of that property,
yes.
yes.
Sinong nakabili ngayon nung property? Wala sa pangalan ng SM?
I have no idea, Mr. Chair.
Wala po kaya sa SM?
Nope.
Sa PISAM, we asked this PISAM, ano po nangyari dito sa property na to? Have you encountered this issue about the property? Importante po ito kasi hindi natin pwede expropriate yung mga government property. Ang sabi sa franchise law, only private property may be acquired.
Mr. Chair, this is not part of the PISAM property, so I'm not aware, Mr. Chair.
So wala sa pangalan to ng NGCP surely
No, Mr. Chair.
Even yung
It's
sa
a public record po.
Even yung sa may ito, Laguna to, area ko to, sa Barangay Bitin, Bae, Laguna. In connection with the Lumban EHB Bay 230 kilovolts transmission line. Ayan, nakasulat doon kanina. Pakita ko nga yung number 619 ulit. Nag-file din kayo ng expropriation against the NPC, NPSAM, on the properties in Barangay Bitin, Bae, Laguna. Meron kayo niyan?
Mr. Chair, again, we would like to clarify that strictly speaking, you can expropriate property held by government in its proprietary capacity.
Hindi nga, sinabi nga ng franchise law, hindi pa pwede eh. Private property
Mr. Chair, in
may
the franchise
be
law-
acquired but not the government property. Nakalagay yung naliwanag ng franchise law. Di ba? O sige, next page tayo. So wala sa pangalan ninyo lahat to? Yung sa Bitin, Barangay Bitin.
Yung alin, sir?
Yung pong Barangay Bitin, yung sa may Laguna. Bitin, Bae, Laguna. In-acquire nyo ba to? Alam siguro ng PISAM to, kasi property nyo to. NPC, yan National Power Corporation yan eh. Sa Barangay Bitin, Bae, Laguna. In connection with the Lumban EHB 230 kilovolts transmission line project, wherein the subject properties are in the name of NPC. Pero, ang ginawa, in-expropriate. Ang tanong, nasa atin pa ba yan or nasa pangalan na ng NGCP? Hindi nyo alam. Mucha.
Mr. Chair, we, again, Mr. Chair, from the very beginning, NGCP follows the guidance of the laws and the rules in the concession agreement. If there were any properties taken, that would have gone through the relevant proceedings in court, and we follow strictly what and adhere to the law and the rules.
Okay, sige. Alright. Hindi alam ng PISAM no? Kindly submit to us, kung nasa pangalan pa ng NPC to.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Punta tayo sa number 21. Kasi kanina pa minimension tong si Mr. Liu Xiaoqiang, saka si Mr. Liu Xinhua, okay. Si Mr. Wenbo. Kanina ko pa nadidinig sila. Nung pang nakalaas ng hearing. Okay, pakita po natin yung page 22. Sa page 22 po, kasi nga, we wanted to find out kung talagang itong mga sinabi natin mga Chinese citizen na to have issued documents. Pakizoom lang natin yan. Ayan po yung NGCP Memorandum, reference number Human Resource Department 2011-08-457, showing the HRD manager requesting approval of the reassignment and deployment of drivers. Ang nakapirma po dito ay si Mr. Liu Xiaoqiang. Do you remember these documents? Document na nandiyan sa screen? Kasi, alam niyo po, very clear yung ating Constitution Section 11, Article 12 The participation of foreign investors in the governing body of any public utility shall be limited to their proportional share in its capital, and all the executive and managing officers of such corporation or association must be citizens of the Philippines. Next page, 23. Isa pa pong request na sinulat naman, inaprobahan naman po ni Mr. Liu Xinhua, Chairman of the Board Audit Committee, is the approving authority for the filling of said position. Ayan, andyan din po yung request form, naka-sign po rin dyan. At ito ay nung effective nung June 21, 2014. 2014. Kahit na noong pa po ito, Mr. Chairman, but because they hired mga hindi citizens of this country and appointing as executive and managing officers of that corporation, then they have violated the ating 1987 Constitution, Section 11, Article 12. At ito naman si Mr. Wenbo sa page 24. Next. Si Mr. Wenbo naman po, noong June 3, 2014, ito manpower request form, dated June 3, 2014, for the hiring of a senior engineer assigned to the Luzon Systems. Nag-hire sila ng senior engineer para sa Luzon Systems, sa Luzon Operations, shows that Mr. Wenbo, Chief Technical Officer, is the approving authority for such hiring. Nagawa po ang hiring nito noong June 3, 2014. Alam niyo din po ba to?
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to respond? Okay. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, we'd like to be given the opportunity to verify the signatures because we are not sure about the signatures contained in these documents. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, even assuming that these are the signatures of the Chinese officials, they were allowed. Yeah, we were allowed to. They were allowed to do so because of the permits and the visas that were issued to them. But we will. We'd like to request
Yeah.
for the opportunity to
Yeah,
check. Mr.
we will
Chairman.
give you the copy of this, ano. But
Furnish them the copy of that
sir,
document.
the Constitution is very clear. Masyadong klaro po yung Constitution. Kailangan po Philippine citizen po yung executive and managing
We are
of
aware
corporation.
of that, Mr. Chairman.
Managerial yung ginagawa po nila. Appointment, hiring. Di po ba? Tama po ba?
Mr. Chairman, like we said, if it is part of the authority given to them by the DOJ, then they are allowed to do so.
Okay. Doon po sa page 25, Mr. Chairman, no? Kasi ito yung paulit-ulit na disregard of the Philippine Constitution. Nakipagkontrata po ang NGCP, $14.3 million. Hindi, susunod. Yan. I-assume nyo. Si Wenbo, andito. Sayang, wala na si Anthony Almeida kasi siya yung Chief Administrative Officer during that time at si Wembo yung Chief Technical Officer. At dito po, pumirma si Mr. Wembo ng contract with Sian Electric Engineering signed on October 30, 2014. I'm pretty sure hindi niyo natatandaan to. Tama? Sige, we will be giving you a copy. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, dito po sa documents that I'll be presenting, si Mr. Wenbo, nag-sign din po, susunod. Paki-zoom in lang. Ayan, si Mr. Wenbo, nag-sign siya po dyan at as Chief Technical Officer at yung sales manager ng Nari Group Corporation, si Alicia Ma, signatory, and yung ating country manager ng Nari Group Corporation, si Yang Fei. That's the reason why, Mr. Chairman, since ang Nari Group Corporation pa rin na nagmamanage ng ating pong mga equipment dyan sa NGCP, let's invite this country manager. I'm pretty sure andito yan si Yang Fei. Okay, Mr. Chairman. Punta po tayo sa page 27. 28. Tanungin ko yung technical person ng NGCP. Are we compliant of all of these critical infrastructures po natin? According sa US, no, sa North American Electric Reliability Council Corporation, kailangan po natin ng protection. Are we all compliant with all these requirements para po sa tamang standard and audit according to our international accepted standard on protecting our grid? One, yung ating bulk electric system. Ayan, binabanggit dyan, no? Bulk electric system, cyber system categorization. Meron po ba tayo niyan to protect our grid? Number three, yung security management controls, personnel and training, yung electronic security perimeters. Who can answer me on this?
To respond to the question of the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
NGCP, yes. Kanina, nandiyan siya. Yes. Can you
Maybe the
give me
Mr. Agustin.
Hey, sir. Your Honor, magandang gabi po.
Yes.
Regarding po dun sa list, we have to verify one by one, but for NGCP, we we have our cybersecurity framework. We have security measures in place in line with the cybersecurity framework prescribed by our government agencies.
Kasi yun yung pinaka-international accepted universal standard that are being followed by all of the countries. Especially that our grid is being managed by a private corporation. Only in the Philippines that the system operation is being managed by a private company. Wala na sa buong mundo na ang system operation is being managed by a private company. Wala na po. That's the reason why I'm asking this, because this is very integral to protect our grid. Kindly submit to this representation, no, to this committee, lahat ng mga protection para na sa ganon, ma-secure po yung amin pong mga members of this committee. At dito po, susunod natin, page 29. Ito po yung website. Pakikita po natin ang website ng NARI. Kasi ako, I will agree with Attorney Melvin Matibag with regards the NARI that is being owned by China government. Dahil dito, pakita po natin yan, isum na lang po natin. Before, yan ang website ng NARI. Nakita nyo pa yung baba mo? Yung reference projects. Ayan o, binabanggit nila o. Ang reference project nila include State Dispatch Center and main regional ones of Philippines. Doon sa kanilang pinaka-website nila, yan ang pinagmamalaki nila dati. Ang reference project nila, ang sinasabi nila, lalo na doon sa kanilang EMS o yung Emergency Management System, nandito sa Pilipinas. Ayan o. And then, after the investigation in the Senate in November 2019, showing the Philippines as reference project, nawala na po yung website. Punta po tayo sa page 34. Para sa, Sharon, can you kindly confirm to this representation? Ito pong, kasi under Republic Act 9136, sa kanilang, sa ating pong implementing rules and regulation, Rule 6, Section 8, sinasabi, submit an updated TDP or Transmission Development Plan for approval to the DOE on a timely basis. Sabi, timely basis. Each year, to integrate, for integration with the PDP and the PEP. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na, di ba? Yung Philippine Energy Plan, PEP, at ini-integrate natin yung mga Transmission Development Plan na sinasubmit ng NGCP. Ang tanong, ayan, makikita mo naman yan, Yusek, compliant ba sila? Kasi kapag nakita ko yan, ang kanila submission, hindi sila nasa tamang panahon ng pagpapadala sa DOE. And even in Congress. Can you kindly confirm with this representation yung submission ng mga documents pertaining to the Transmission Development Plan is on the timely basis?
Mr. Chair, only when we started in 2022, because talagang pinilit yun, Mr. Chair, na matapos yung first kasi the previous years, there were there were issues with between NGCP and Transco, and the document was not filed timely enough, Mr. Chair.
So meaning, ibig sabihin, dahil mayroong away ang Transco saka ang NGCP, hindi po sila nagsasubmit.
Correct, sir. I think there was a TRO, and also there was a question because Transco could not sign it off, Mr. Chair, because they were not coordinating with each other.
So,
kaya ayaw din ng
violation
Transco.
ng
So,
NGCP.
I think it's more of a Transco.
NGCP, yes.
Yes, sir.
Is this true na hindi nyo sinasubmit sa DOE yung mga TDP? Attorney?
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I didn't get the... Apologies, I didn't get the...
Okay. Sabi po sa batas, sa Republic Act 9136, sa Implementing Rules and Regulation, Section C, Rule 6, Section 8, letter B, submit an updated transmission development plan for approval to the DOE on a timely basis each year for integration with the PDP and PEP. So ang tanong ko, nagsasubmit ba kayo on a timely basis? Kasi sabi ni Yusek, dahil sa away nyo sa Transco, hindi kayo nagsubmit. Is this true?
Mr. Chairman, nagsasubmit po kami sa DOE.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
our department order requires that the approval of, or well, not approval, it's certified by the Transco.
Okay.
Hindi po nasasubmit ang Transco.
So can we be clarified, Attorney Melvin Matibag, being the former Transco president?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yeah. What Yusek Garing was saying was correct, but I would like to add, there was a department order issued by the then Secretary Cusi that the submission of the transmission development plan before submitting it to DOE, padaanin po sa Transco for an endorsement. Ayaw nila eh. Kaya the reason being, ito na siguro yung panawagan kanina nung isa nating congressman na dapat magtulungan tayo, sama-sama tayo. The reason being, ang ginagawa ng ng DOE is because eventually dun sa review magkakasama rin naman eh. But for reason only known to NGCP at that time, ayaw nilang mag-submit. In fact, I'm not sure, hindi ko na ma-recall exactly, they filed the case pa sa RTC sa Quezon City asking for TRO dun sa department order.
Ba't ayaw nyo mag-submit,
siguro ang
NGCP?
bottom line dito, Mr. Chair, it becomes a habit of NGCP na pagka may mga problemang ganyan, they will go to court, punta ng Court of Appeals, punta ng RTC, punta ng Supreme Court. Well, that is of course the right of everyone, but eventually ang nagsasuffer po naman dito palagi is yung taong bayan, yung public palagi. So,
Okay,
yun po,
maraming
Mr.
salamat.
Chair.
NGCP, with that statement that was delivered by Attorney Melvin Matibag, na hindi nyo po, mayroong advice o letter si Secretary Cusi?
Department order po.
Oh, may department order sa inyo, idaan nyo sa Transco para at least bago dumating sa DOE. So, hindi kayo nag-comply sa department order.
Mr. Chair, the TRO was against the department order of the DOE.
The TRO,
Kami yung question yung issuance namin.
against sa inyo, ang naging so nagkaroon ng TRO. Nagkaroon ng TRO.
Mr. Chair, but it expired and na-archive because TRO is only good for 20 days. So
still,
hindi na rin tinuloy.
Having said all of that, still, hindi sila nakapag-submit on a timely basis sa panahon mo.
Ganun po, yun nangyari, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Okay, so, ancillary services, you are mandated by the EPIRA law that kayo po ang system operator, kayo rin po ang ancillary services. Tanong, matagal nyo nang pinag-aawayan to. Gusto ko nang magkaroon ng clarity dito. Firm and non-firm contracts. Ayan na naman tayo. 5 taon na natin itong pinaglalabanan. Kumpleto na ba ang firm contracts? Mucha.
Mr. Chair, again, may I be allowed wide latitude to answer. Yung firm and non-firm, actually, the firm contracts were an invention of NGCP. We implemented that during Transco's time. Puro non-firm po yan. But we decided that it would be a better procurement strategy to do firm and non-firm. However, in 2021 or thereabouts, we were directed to conduct a CSP and contract all firm, which we complied with. We conducted a CSP in 2023. Around 2023, Mr. Chair, forgive me if my dates might be inexact. But we did comply with that directive of the ERC. But the CSP will relies on the interest of the bidders. So as far as I know, there are still some contracts that some capacities that have yet to be contracted, but only because there weren't enough interested bidders. We plan to hold a second round to complete that. So we are in compliance with the orders of the ERC in that regard.
ERC, same. Yung kanilang regulating reserve, contingency, and dispatchable. Kailangan lahat yan may ancillary services. Lahat yan dapat firm contracts para wala tayong brownouts. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng brownouts dahil nga non-firm Hindi committed di ba? So, tanong, dun sa tatlong tinatawag nating ancillary services, regulating reserve, dispatchable, contingency, so lahat ba complied na sila sa tinatawag nating firm contracts? Sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Iba-iba yan di ba?
Apo. Mr. Chair, I think nabanggit na rin po naman ng NGCP, hindi pa po covered ng lahat ng firm contract. Pero siguro po banggitin na rin namin, Mr. Chair, nasabi po kanina kasi nga merong kakulangan ng level of interest nung nagpa-CSP si NGCP. Ang maganda naman pong nangyari because nag-reserve market na tayo, lumabas po yung mga reserves. So meron po tayong enough reserves. Yung iba sa kanila kakontrata ng NGCP, yung iba po nasa reserve market. So isa nga pong tanong na...
Sino bibili nun? Sino makipagkontrata doon?
ang bumibili po ng reserve si NGCP din po.
Nakakapag-comply sila?
Apo, nakakabili naman po. Pero
sa lahat ng ancillary services?
Po, yes. Except
Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao?
For some instances po I think in Visayas, tinatanong ko lang po yung level ngayon. Pero in Visayas po yung meron pa po tayo sometimes nakakulangan. Pero in general po, we have enough reserves.
Thank you, NGCP. At least nagko-comply na kayo sa ancillary. Okay, eto na. Last na to. Sir, Mr. Chairman. Okay. Kasi eto sa Transco, no? Kasi sa right of way, sino nagbabayad? NGCP or Transco or PISAM? PISAM, no? Di ba?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond.
Yes.
Doon po sa mga dating or lumang transmission lines, Transco po ang nagbabayad sa mga claimants doon sa right of ways. Pero doon po sa mga bagong transmission projects, NGCP po ang nag-acquire ng right of way.
So pag nag-acquire nila, na kaninong pangalan?
Yun po yung isang issue kasi dapat dahil yung asset sa Transco, in the end, dapat po sana nasa Transco. Pero the way nire-register nila yon nasa pangalan po ng NGCP.
O bakit nasa pangalan ng NGCP? Yung mga binibili yung right of way. Hindi po ba dapat nasa Transco yan dahil pag-aari po yan ng gobyerno, hindi sa inyo?
Mr. Chair,
yes.
May I respond? I refer to RA 9511 Earth Franchise, Section 4. It states that the grantee may acquire such private property as is necessary for the realization of the purposes for which this franchise is granted.
May acquire?
Yes, Mr. Chair. That means purchase or otherwise acquire rights to the property.
So, kaninong property? Sa inyo o sa gobyerno?
Mr. Chair, the obligation under the concession agreement is that we have to turn it over at the end of the period, but under the franchise, we are given the authority to acquire property.
Okay, ang tanong, kung iti-turn over nyo sa government, I agree with that. Sige, sabihin na natin.
Mr. Chair.
So, ay, ma'am, sige.
Mr. Chair.
Yusek ka rin.
The concession agreement, which is a private agreement among the parties, says that it should be under Transco's name.
Nakalagay sa concession
Mr.
agreement?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Attorney Cynthia,
Yeah.
wag tayo magkakaroon ng gross misrepresentation dito, ha?
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, if we may be allowed to respond.
Yeah.
Sige, okay,
Please.
go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's correct. Under the concession agreement, it should be in Transco's name. But if it is provided that if NGCP can get a franchise, then NGCP may acquire the property under its own name. That's what is clear under the concession
Okay.
agreement in relation to the franchise.
Okay, ganito
of
na lang, sir.
NGCP.
Para, okay lang ako dyan. I-allow natin. Ang tanong, ito. Halimbawa, nabili nyo ngayon ng property. Ita-turn over nyo sa government. So, magkano nyo ita-turn over yung property nyon? Anong value? Is it the value when you buy it or sa 2034 ang presyo? Naibabalik
There's
sa
a
gobyerno.
mechanism, Mr. Chairman, under the concession agreement.
You tell me, kasi alam niyo yung concession agreement. You tell me, ano nakalagay? Kung binili mo property ngayon, ita-turn over mo sa 2034, magkano ang value nun? Value na ngayon o present value ng 2034?
Mr. Chair, yun po yung subject to valuation na may proseso po yan sa concession agreement
tataas
kung
nga.
paano po evaluate.
Yun na nga ang contention,
hindi-
Attorney Mucha.
titingnan po
Kapag
natin.
yan po ay tinurn over natin at the end of the concession, mahal na ang bili ng gobyerno. Eh baka mamaya hindi, yan na lang i-offset di lugi-lugi na gobyerno. Hindi pa pwede yun. Disadvantages to the government eh. Di ba? Yun ang sinasabi ng EPIRA sa RA 9136, 47A.
Mr.
Liwanag
Chair.
ng EPIRA, oh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Di
may I
ba?
respond,
Ang sinasabi
please?
dyan, oh.
Please, please, you may continue.
Pakinggan niyo muna.
Wait.
47A, NPC, privatization. The privatization value of the NPC shall be optimized.
Mr. Chair, if I may
Kasi
respond.
malulugi ang gobyerno niya kapag tinurn over mo pa sa 2034.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, may I respond? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And can we ask her to respond? Okay, thank you, ha? Kasi, okay, so we will ask her to respond. You now have the chance to respond, but please make it brief.
Yes,
You've
Mr.
been
Chair.
using the word wide latitude.
This
It's
one, I will be very brief.
It's already 10:30.
Yes,
okay?
Mr.
So
Chair,
keep it
past
brief.
my
Thank
bedtime
you.
as well. Mr. Chair, I will be brief. This was not a negotiated bid. This was a concession agreement drafted by government and opened to the public in open public bidding. This was there were 3 failed bids prior, and NGCP cannot speculate as to the wisdom behind the provisions of that draft that was provided to the bidders. Neither can we speculate on the provisions of the concession, the franchise law when it was passed. We only know that we followed the law governing our concession and our franchise, and we have tried to do so from day one, and we have conducted our operations with full transparency to the best of our effort.
Section ano yan? Section 4?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I will accept that, Mr. Chairman. But of course, we have to always consider na yung pong advantage ng ating pong gobyerno pagdating po sa mga bagay na ganitong usapin. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, last na po to kasi actually, itatabi ko na po itong huling dokumentong to. Hindi na po, next time na po to. Ito na lang pong huli. Last na talaga to. Yung Transco po, kasi po, meron po akong nabasa, yung pong right of way that Transco has yet to pay ay umabot po ng 400 billion. Totoo ba ho to? Kasi according dito sa documents, sinasabi, sa 2024, you need 5 billion for the right of way. Sa 2025, kailangan nyo ng 6.4 billion. Sa 2026, kailangan nyo ng 8.2 billion for right of way. Is this true?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond. Yung pong right of way universe namin is in the order of 300,000 titles. And our estimate is at around 300 billion for all this transmission, or rather,
Right-of-way
transmission
claims.
right-of-way. Yes, sir.
Kasi nakalagay dito, over 197,000 potential right-of-way claims that had yet to be processed by Transco. Kaya umabot po kayo ng 400 billion na kakailanganin po ninyo na at taon-taon aabot tayo ng 5 billion. Saan kukunin ang perang pambayad nito? Sa concession?
Tama po. Doon po namin kinukuha sa concession fee na
Binabayad,
binibigay
ang binabayad lang sa inyo ng concession is 2 billion. Noong 2022, 2.8 billion. Noong 2023, 2.8 billion. Magbabayad ka na ngayon ng 5 billion. Oh, saan mo kukunin?
Humihingi po kami ng additional funds sa
Ayan.
PISAM.
That's the reason why itong ating pong, Mr. Chairman, ating privatization, hindi po talaga nagtutugma. Dati, nagre-remit sila ng 15 billion. Ngayon, kailangan pa nila manguha ng pera para makabayad sa right of way. Nalulugi po ang gobyerno. Am I correct, Mr. President?
Kung nalulugi po, may deficiency lang po talaga sa pondo. Now, maidagdag ko lang po if you may allow, Mr. Chair, tungkol po sa titulo as written in the concession agreement. Ang sulat po sa 5.01 title, notwithstanding anything in this agreement, Transco shall retain title to, first, all transmission assets, intellectual property rights, to all assets comprising projects under construction or new projects, and 3, all easements, right of way, or other real estate interest, and so on and so forth.
Now, I understand kung saan kayo nanggagaling, saka DOE, saka rin nanggagaling NGCP. Nagbabangga yung dalawang provision, and we have to settle that. That's the reason why, Mr. Chairman, we really need to review. At considering that, kasi disadvantage sa government yun na pinapangalan nila sa kanila, dapat sa atin nakapangalan yun. Para sa ganun, pagdating ng 2034, hindi na tayo mahirapan i-transfer sa atin. Gastos yun sa gobyerno. At sinabi po, di ba dapat yung pong concession agreement o yung EPIRA law, it's always considering the privatization value ay in favor of the government. I-optimize natin, i-maximize natin. Kaya nga tayo nag-award, kailangan po, Mr. Chairman, yung present value natin na ibibigay sa gobyerno na proceed ay tama. At dito, mukhang may salto po. Hindi po tama yung provision na binabanggit ng NGCP, and I agree with the section. Saan mo nabasa yan? Concession agreement?
Section 5.01 po ng concession agreement.
Ano yung binasa mo kanina mo siya?
Section 4 of RA 9511.
Tinan mo, nagbabanggaan yung dalawa Anyway, Mr. Chairman, yun lang po muna at dahil alas 11 na po, maraming po salamat at magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dan Fernandez.